it seems Season 3 for Global is going to be releasing this coming week, being the 18th. Although it was leaked to say it was going to be coming on 25th, but it was originally had the date of the 18th. It seems that they're keeping with the 18th for the release of Season 3. So with all that being said, obviously, as it is seasonal, and as Global is doing still the 3 seasonal, which could be their last one, right? I'm pretty sure insane. Well, one of them is going to be given out for free. So the big question is, who is going to be the character that you guys should be getting for free? Well, it's an easy one. See you later, Jack. You out of here. Ooh, Charlotte. So let's start things off with Jack. He is the weakest link from my experience when I obviously pulled the man, used the man. His performance was very poor. I'm not going to lie, that's kind of my take on it. Jack is not a PvP character. PvE. If you take him on PvP, I'm sorry to say he is not going to be doing well, and Jack will get absolutely stomped. He is just not that good for PvP. PvE, I'm not going to lie, even with PvE I wasn't exactly finding him too well. Even with where JP and KR is at right now, I even gave him like updated kits and he was still, yeah, the performance just wasn't there, unfortunately. I'm not a big fan of this Jack. I mean, I'm gonna just, say it, but the way he's working, first skill, single target, can inflict bleed. If the enemy is already having the bleed debuff, then you've got a 50% chance to stun. I don't know why they didn't put the percentage on stun on his levels, on his skills. That would have been pretty nice to have, but yeah, it's just a flat out 50-50. Then his second skill, he's got 1 stack of miscalculation that he can apply to himself. So what basically that does is that when using your special move, additionally attack a random target per stack of miscalculation up to 3 stacks. So basically what will happen is you ultimate the target that you're targeting, and then if you have miscalculation, then it will do additional damage onto the other random characters. So if you've got 3, then you're pretty much attacking the whole team, right? It's like an AoE. And on top of that, you get your increased pen at level 2, and you get increased accuracy at level 2. And then of course, once again, it's just buffing up his damage on the skill levels. And then on his ultimate, again, performs an additional attack per stack of miscalculated, so you can stack it up 3 times, so you can do AoE on the whole enemy team, dealing additional damage equal to 80% of the attack and magic attack to a random enemy. Inflicts stun for 1 turn on the designated target. So a bit of a stunner going on. Obviously he's single target, so I mean, I guess from a boss perspective, not the best, because of course they can't get stunned, so that's not going to be too helpful. I mean, for PvP, I mean, I guess you can kind of, well, no, then again, people are running that Mars and whatnot, Radis, so I'm not Radis, yeah, Radis. So of course, there's that protection of stuns going on. Combination skill, dispels barrier. I mean, that's one good thing. I feel like they should have added that in somewhere, surely, or maybe on the skill too, that would have been pretty nice. Performs an additional attack dealing damage equal to 30% of attack and magic attack to a random enemy. And then of course, when it comes to his passive and unique passive, so his unique passive, when you get him to LR, when attack, grants self 20% increased stamina, which isn't bad at all because it's speed up. And then of course his LR2 passive, or the LR passives, applies 1 stack of miscalculation to self at the start of the battle. So pretty much, if you want to turn 1 ult, then you're going to be attacking the designated character along with a random enemy of the game's choosing, basically. And that's kind of like the premise of the Jack himself. Oh, also, if you do get his Greymore, it does buff up his ultimate, and so for that, if miscalculated was triggered 3 times in the same turn, the last trigger will benefit from a 500% increased damage buff. So if you get 3 of the miscalculation, then you do the ultimate and you have the Greymore, then you're going to be benefiting from this 500% increased damage. So the Greymore itself, as aforementioned on the buff that it provides on the ultimate, the passive for the Greymore has a 35 to 100% chance to grant a 20% increased damage before attacking. So yeah, I mean, in order to get that high RNG rate, you've got to put more dupes into it, and there are just other better Greymores that don't require all of this RNG play for that 20%. So in all honesty, Jack's Greymore, it's okay. I'm not going to say it's bad. I mean, for attackers, for damage output, if you do get dupes on it, then fair play. At that point, it'll be pretty good. But just for itself being 35%, because that's going to be the bare minimum for 20%, there's other better ways to go about getting some offensive Greymore going on. Although, if if you do get it and you do want to capitalize on the miscalculated ultimate attack with that 5% increased damage, then fair enough. If you're capable of getting all 3 of the miscalculated, I mean, I guess the LR+2 will help out because you've already got 1 stack. Do the second skill, that's 2 stack, and then you might have to kind of fiddle around and wait a little bit for that 3rd stack. But if you're able to do that and you've got the Greymore, then yeah, you can make the most of it. But you know, the Greymore itself, for an attacking Greymore, especially with having to put dupes in it to get the higher rates going, yeah, not really worth it. So he's just going to be a character, as well as his Greymore, that you do not need to concern yourself with. We'll just leave it as that. Again, if you want to summon just for collection value, then you're more than welcome to do so. But yeah. Fugolion. So Fugolion is the beginner of the burn meta. So he's 2nd in place. So of course launches multiple bullets, dealing damage to a single target, inflicts burn. Very straightforward, you know, doing burn damage. His 2nd skill, it's once again single target, inflicts burn as per usual, but this time around he's dispelling barrier. So of course Global is in that barrier meta state, of course. So Fugolion's coming out of the woodworks to take down the barrier. So there's that. If you do get his Greymore, then inflicts burn on a random enemy, dealing continuous damage for 2 turns. So he's stacking up on the burn, and again you'll see why. His ultimate, based on the number of burn stacks affecting the target, inflicts an increased damage taken debuff on him before attacking. So the more burn the enemy has, the more damage you're doing. So if they've got 1 stack of burn, that's 20% increased damage. If they've got 2 stacks of burn, that's 75% increased damage. If they've got 3 stacks of burn or more, then that's 220% of damage. Now, keep in mind, the ultimate is AoE. That's why having burns on random enemies is going to benefit you. So that ultimate, if you can get a lot of burns going on for the whole team, for the whole enemy team, yeah, Fugolion is going to be having a lovely day when it comes to doing a lot of damage in that part. He also dispels all stacks of burns from the target once obviously the damage goes through, so you're going to have to reset it. But on top of that, he does dispel barrier. So there you go. You are not safe. Barrier will not protect you. Fugolion is coming in for blood. Alright. And then of course the combination attack. Attacks after applying 30% increased damage to yourself if an enemy is taking DOT, which more than likely they will. Burn damage. So that's that. His unique passive, when HP drops below 30%, he gains immortality for 1 turn, so he's immortal. Beautiful. Pretty much like Lich. There you go. And then of course his passive, if you manage to get him to LR+2, deals 5% increased damage per burn stack on the enemy. I will say, if you completely max out Fugolion, then that's going to be 15% increased damage per burn stack on enemy. So Fugolion is an amazing little attacker for, you know, applying burns. Once those burns are applied, his damage output is actually pretty nice, I will say. Now, as I've mentioned, of course, with the burn meta, it really does take a notch when it comes to Season 5, which of course is the Charmy, which then leads into Magna dropping. So this Fugolion isn't bad at all. I wouldn't say he's kind of like, oh, he's a must summon. Like, if you do pull him, fair play. He's actually a pretty solid burn meta type of character. With PvP, I mean, I guess on Global you might be able to use him at the very beginning, of course. But he won't pick up until obviously more of the burn meta units start rolling in, of course. Even at that point, when they start rolling in, you don't even actually need to even run for Fugolion at that point, since Charmy and Magna, you know, they're kind of doing their thing. Of course, Mereoleona is going to be coming in, so in a way, you know, Fugolion is going to kind of fall back. But at the very start, you will get your uses out of him. For PvE, he's going to be absolutely fantastic, right? Applying the burn onto the enemy, and then of course the damage output is going to be absolutely astonishing. So, you know, Fugolion is not a bad unit at all, but obviously we've got our mind. Well, and he's not meta. That's the thing. But he is actually a pretty solid unit. Now, his Greymore, in my opinion, is probably one of the best. Probably one of the best for the burn meta. Now, on his passive, there is a 10% to 100% chance when attacking to gain a 5 to 25% increased damage per burn affecting the enemy. If you max out this Greymore, making that 100% chance to gain a 25% increased damage per burn affecting the enemy, the burn meta characters, you want to stick this on. Whether it's Magna, whether it's Mereoleona. Charmy, you don't really need to, but you can do so, because Charmy can potentially Oko. I'm just going to put that out there. She's pretty strong too. But for the burn meta, this Greymore is disgusting if you can cap it. If you can max it, congratulations, you are set. Magna is going to be doing disgusting damage. Mereoleona is going to be doing disgusting damage. This This freaking Fagolion will be doing disgusting damage. So the character is nice, but bro, this Greymore, if you can get some dupes on it, boys, it is insane. That's all I'll say. And then of course, as I've aforementioned, it applies random burns to random enemies on the second skill. So that's kind of how that's working. So yeah, Fuego, not a bad unit. PvE, very, very clutch to have. PvP, yeah, you can get your uses out of him, but he'll slowly drop off. The character which everyone's going to be going for is Charlotte. So if you are free to play, you do not need to summon on this season. You just need your Charlotte, and you're done. That is it. There is no reason, I mean, yeah, yes, I did hype up this Greymore, but the Greymore's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to get, so don't bother spending your crystals or your tickets, because the seasons after are the ones where you want to save for, because those are going to be two amazing characters back to back. But Charlotte is the better unit out of the season 3 for global. She is the meta, and even currently right now with where where JP and KR is at, she's still meta. She's still damn freaking good. So obviously she's bringing along the counter-attack meta. First skill, she can apply it on to your highest attacking unit, so in most cases people are probably going to give it to Julius or Noelle, depending on who you built up. Her second skill increases all attack on all your allies by 40%. If you do manage to get a Greymore, then you also grant your allies total defense. That second skill with the Greymore, I absolutely love. Charlotte is such an amazing good support character. And then her ultimate grants all allies counter-attack. Now it is a 60% chance, so there is a chance that not all your allies will get the counter-attack, but most of the time 2-3 units always get the counter-attack buff, so there's that. And then on her combination skill, which you guys might want to make good use of, she has 12% fortified to all allies. So if you want to not do the counter-attack, make it so that it's the second skill and then the fortify coming in, you know, kind of beefing up your whole team, and then you can just kind of rely on doing the counter-attack for your strongest attacking unit. That's also an option. If you are running all blue units, which you'll be able to, since blue is now meta, now that the Charlotte's coming into play, you inflict silence for 1 turn, making it so that the enemy can't use their second skill. Oh no, well, how the tables have turned. There you go. Her LR passive, which is insane to me, she gains 1 skill point when attacked. Trust me, if you can get to LR +2, please do so, because getting the consistency of her ultimate, even if you want to stack up with the combination attack, that is so freaking helpful. I just got, so my Charlotte is LR +3. She was LR +1, and then of course when I summoned recently for the luck and the army, I managed to get her LR +2, and using it, the consistency of how easily I'm getting her ultimate, as well as if I want to use the combination skill, it's so freaking good. And then of course her Greymore, when attacked, there is a 20% to 100% chance to recover 1 skill point. So, you know, with the LR +2 and then putting dupes into the Greymore, yeah, those skill points for Charlotte is racking up. So the consistency of the counter attack is there. If you want to stack up on the fortify, it's there. Charlotte is just that problem support that she's going to be causing for a lot of people. All right, she's that freaking good. So, as I aforementioned, even where things are at right now, being obviously we're in season 8. Charlotte is still damn good to this day. She's most definitely going to be a PvP unit, and she is also usable on PvE. On PvE, I don't really capitalize on the counter attack because I don't need to. I just stack on the second skill and the combination attack. That's kind of how I just work on PvE. But again, on PvP, you're going to have an absolute field day. Blue meta will slowly make its return, most definitely, and yeah, it'll get more interesting. It'll get more interesting. So that's pretty much that. So Charlotte is going to be the character that you want to get for free. Her Greymore, if you're able to get it, fair play. I mean, if you can also dupe it out, it's going to be beneficial for her too. But it's not the end of the world. You don't really need, you don't heavily need it. But if you get it, you got it. You know what I mean? It's not too bad. You know, having the total defense on the second skill really does help her out and helps out the whole team, I will say. Of course, for Goleon, you know, not a bad unit at all. Of course, you know, he'll have his uses at the very beginning. As time goes on, he'll slowly drop back. But he is the introduction for the burn meta. His Greymore is, in my opinion, the biggest attraction. So if you can get dupes on it, lay it down the line, you've got yourself one of the best Greymores in the goddamn game. Just putting it out there. And then Jack, on the other hand, yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, let's just pretend Jack's not hit. Nah, I'm only kidding. Look, Jack is okay. But anyway, boys, I'll leave it there. So when it comes to on who you should get for free, Charlotte.